A Women in the Arts Website Guide. Chapter 1. The Woman Artist. Where to find lists of women artists. WomenArts.org Funding Resources. Women Artist. Women Artist Directories. Interactive database with biographical information about over 18,000 women visual artists from all time periods and nationalities. WomenUniteArtMovement.com Artist Directory. WhereAreTheWomenArtists.com. MaryLynBuchanan.com Blog 100 Contemporary. 100 Contemporary Female Artists. GERlandGallery.com. Artcyclopedia.com Artists Women. Index to online works by women artists. SarahRansomArt.com. Top most famous and influential female artists. DistinguishedWomen.com/subject/art.html, distinguished. nmwa.org/collection/a-z.asp, Women in the Arts. www.inre.asu.edu, the world's women online artwork created by women artists from all over the world. feminist.org/arts/linkaart.html. Women artist websites. 1. Antielnes.com, Antelnes cartoonist. art.net, art on the net. artwomen.org. awbw.org, a window between world's creative arts to battered women. Braball.com, Braball woman sculpture by female artist Emily Duffy. CambridgeDocumentaryFilms.org, Cambridge Documentary Films, Inc. at 617-484-3993. cartons-tomorrow.com, Vivian Westerman. eGallery.com/magic.html, The Electric Gallery Native American Artists. FridaKahlo.it, Frida Kahlo Mexican painter Frida Kahlo. friends-lulu.org, Friends of Lulu promoting and encouraging female participation in the comic book industry. girlslearn.org, Girls Learn International. GorillaGirls.com, Gorilla Girls, a group of women artists. Horacek.com.au, Judy Horacek, Australian cartoonist. Hotheadpaisan.com, Hothead Paisan, homicidal lesbian terrorist comic book character artist Diane DeMassa. Ishtarfilms.com, Wild West Women, Inc. jdesfineart.com/introbk.htm, the Dualt Fine Art Gallery, creative mediums to explore lesbianism. kingfeatures.com/features/comics/6chicks/about.htm, 6chicks. Antelnes is a Pulitzer Prize-winning editorial cartoonist. lib.berkeley.edu/mrc/ethnisimachsvid.html, UC Berkeley Library Web. libweb.sonoma.edu/special/wa, Women Artists Archive. lifetimetv.com, Lifetime Television for Women. msmagazine.com, Ms. Magazine. mystudios.com/women/women.html. nawanet.org, the National Association of Women Artists. newmoons2dio.com, Jacques Harper feminist artist. nicolehollander.com, Nicole Hollander's Sylvia comic strip. nmwa.org, the National Museum for Women in the Arts. 2 blocks from the White House in Washington, D.C. Oxygen.com, website and television network for women. SoraIda.com, Verdatism. Soraida Martinez, a New York artist of Puerto Rican heritage. WMM.com, Women Make Movies. Womanmade.org, Woman Made Gallery. WomenPrintmakers.com, Women Printmakers of Austin. womankind.org/main.htm, Womankind Productions multimedia programs about violence against women. wsworkshop.org, Women's Studio Workshop. Women Artist Websites. 2. nmwa.org, National Museum of Women in the Arts. aawa.org. abcgallery.com. airgallery.org. archive.com/archive/women.html. artcyclopedia.com/artists/women.html. artriachofoundation.org/veils. artwomen.org, artwomen.org. biography.com/people/mary-cassatt-92400820. cla.purdue.edu/waw. collections.ic.gc.ca/wac/collection.hdm. ellensplace.net/o'keefe1.html, Georgia O'Keeffe, biography, images. feminist.org/arts/linkaart.html, fmf, feminist arts. georgia-okeeffe.com. gian.com/pages/artwork/works_by_women.html, works by women, Gian Foundation. gold.ac.uk/make. inform.umd.edu/address/topic/women's studies. International Association of Women Sculptors.com. ktpress.co.uk. library.ucsb.edu/subjects/black feminism/a_art.html. metmuseum.org. mystudios.com/women/women.html, women in art. nationalwca.org/index.php. nga.gov/collection/gallery/cassatt/main1.html. nmwa.org, National Museum of Women in the Arts. nparadoxa.blogspot.com. o'keeffemuseum.org. queer-arts.org, Queer Arts Resource. sfwomenartists.org. sittingroom.org. skidmore.edu/academics/a369/contemporarysite.htm. sla.purdue.edu/waw, women artists of the American West. sla.purdue.edu/waw/palmquist/index.htm. thenawa.org. veroregistry.com, Vero Registry of Women Artists. waand.rutgers.edu. web.ukonline.co.uk/n.paradoxes/links.htm, women's artwork on the web.ukonline.co.uk/n.paradoxes/index.htm, n.paradoxa, an international feminist art journal. wendy.com/women/artists.html. womenarts.org. womensartregister.org. wwol.inre.asu.edu. Chapter 2. Women's Arts and Entertainment Websites from cali.org/society/people/women/arts_and_entertainment. Women's Arts and Entertainment Websites. departments.bucknell.edu/stadler_center/how-to, online journal dedicated to modernist and innovative works of writing, visual art, and multimedia undertaken by women. famouscreativewomen.com. femalepersuasion.net, Female Persuasion, a creative environment made up of female artists exploring through art what it means to be a woman today. studioxx.org, Studio XX, an artist-run resource center for women exploring and challenging aspects of new media technologies. weaonline.org, Women in the Arts, Inc. womenarts.org, the Fund for Women Artists, non-profit arts service organization dedicated to increasing the diversity and employment of women in theater, film, video and other art forms. womenfolk.com, Womenfolk, women and creativity through quilting and other mediums in history and the present. Women's Film and Television Organization websites. bawifm.org, Bay Area Women in Film and Media, a professional network of Bay Area women in film and media. facebook.com/wiftin, Women in Film and Television in Nigeria, a membership-based non-profit organization to recognize and support the women working in Nigerian screen-based and other media. facebook.com/women-in-film-Africa-South-Africa-WIFTSA-141217032567634, Women in Film and Television South Africa. WIFTSA is a network interested in the professional development and empowerment of women in the film and television industry. Facebook.com/realwomen, Real Women, non-profit organization formed for the purposes of developing a permanent support system for women at all levels of experience in the film and video industries. HawaiiWomeninFilmmaking.org, Hawaii Women in Filmmaking, a non-profit feminist organization committed to achieving gender equity in filmmaking and other creative media arts. KCWIFT.com, Kansas City Women in Film and TV, empowering, promoting and mentoring women in film and related careers. MNWIFT.org, Minnesota Women in Film and Television, sharing ideas and connections and creating momentum to benefit careers. NMWIF.com, New Mexico Women in Film, TV, and Media, a New Mexico-based outreach network committed to the professional development and achievement of women in the film and television community. NYWIFT.org, Women in Film and Television, New York, nonprofit, professional membership organization for women working in the film and television industries in New York. PeaceWift.org, Palm Springs Women in Film and Television, to advance women and men involved in the entertainment, communication, and media industries and attracting new jobs, investment and production to the Coachella Valley. U2meninfilm.com, Utah Women in Film, provides opportunities, education, networking and mentoring programs for women filmmakers in the community. WFTV.org.uk, Women in Film and Television UK, a membership organisation for women working in creative media in the UK. WIFChicago.net, Women in Film Chicago, dedicated to promoting members and contributing to the overall success of Chicago in television, independent and major film production. WIFDallas.org, Women in Film, Dallas, promotes and enhances the recognition of all professional women in the film and video industry. WIFMPIT.org, Women in Film and Media Pittsburgh, dedicated to improving the status and portrayal of women in film, video and other screen-based media. WIFPDX.org, Women in Film Portland, elevating women in film through education, outreach and professional development. WIFT-HOUSTON.org, Women in Film and Television Houston, Texas chapter of the nonprofit, international organization. WIFT.co.in, WIFT Mumbai, to help in the development and achievement of women working in film, television, and other screen-based mediums. WIFT.com, Women in Film and Television, Toronto, promotes opportunities for women in film and television in Toronto. WIFT.se/in-English, Women in Film and Television in Sweden, the Swedish chapter, WIFT Sverige, was founded in Stockholm in 2003. WIFTA.ca, Women in Film and Television Alberta, promotes and assists the development of women in the film, video, multimedia and television industries. WIFTA.org, Women in Film and Television, Atlanta, membership details, industry news, educational resources, information about members and links. WIFTLouisiana.org, WIFT Louisiana, WIFT-LA hosts networking events called Alice Evenings to provide an opportunity to meet other professional women in the field. WIFTNashville.org, Nashville Women in Film and Television, events, awards, and networking. WIFTNSW.org.au, Women in Film and Television, NSW, a non-profit organisation for women in the film and television industries in Australia. WIFTNZ.org.nz, WIFT New Zealand, an organisation to support growth and sustainability in the screen industries with a particular emphasis on equal opportunity and participation for women. WIFTVic.com.au, Women in Film and Television Victoria, Victoria, Australia-based chapter. WIFV.org, Women in Film and Video of Washington, D.C., dedicated to advancing professionals working in screen-based media and related disciplines. WomenInFilm.ca, Women in Film and Television Vancouver, membership information, member directory, event listings, photographs, and links. WomenInFilm.org, Women in Film, a professional organization founded in Los Angeles in 1973 with the commitment to recognize, develop, and actively promote the unique visions of women in the global communications industry. womeninfilmfl.org, Women in Film, Central Florida, a non-profit, professional membership organization for women working in the film and television industries. womeninfilmseattle.org, Women in Film, Seattle. Women in Film is an organization of professional women committed to working with integrity in the art and business of film. womeninfilmvideo.org, Women in Film Video, organization promoting women in the media in New England. Women's career websites: mscareergirl.com, Ms. Career Girl, career building tips, motivational advice. askmen.com/money/career/16_career.html, askmen.com, women in the workplace, men dealing with women in the workplace. eoc.org, Euro-American Women's Council, attempts to aid women business owners and executives by building alliances between the private sector and government while providing groundbreaking research to document the economic and social contributions of women-owned firms. angelfire.com/me3/thoughts/index12.html, mysterious woman, discrimination in the workplace, a place for women to meet other women that are and have been discriminated against while at work. Women's small business organizations: ICD.org, International Center for Entrepreneurship and Career Development. Alchemy.com, Alchemy. This site helps women become successful small business owners by providing value, inspiration, and direction to women starting up. AmberGrantesForWomen.com, WomenSnet.net, quarterly grants offered for women-owned businesses and women entrepreneurs. AmiraAlvarez.com, Amira Alvarez, offers mentorship for creative women entrepreneurs. ElizabethPottsweinstein.com, EPW Small Business Law PC, teaches women small business owners and entrepreneurs tools to experience holistic wealth. Entrepreneurialwoman.ca, Entrepreneurial Woman Magazine. Entrepreneurial Woman Magazine is an online magazine for and about Canadian women in business. Everywoman.com, Everywoman, provides women in business with the resources, advice, and tools for business success. fbwn.org.uk, Forest Business Women's Network, a network of both fledgling and established companies within and around the Forest of Dean area. ladieswholaunch.com, Ladies Who Launch, online community for women business owners emphasizing entrepreneurship and creativity. nabo.org, National Association of Women Business Owners, NABO. naem.org.my, National Association of Women Entrepreneurs of Malaysia, NAEN, an organization established with the purpose of harnessing the capabilities and resources of women entrepreneurs for the encouragement and enhancement of women's role in business. onewomanmarketing.com, One Woman Marketing, free resources on marketing for women and marketing to women, including a podcast and twice-monthly newsletter. wfehouston.org, Women's Finance Exchange of Houston, helps develop professional women working in financial areas by providing networking and learning opportunities. windenterprises.com, Wind Enterprises, offers leadership conferences and seminars promoting self-empowerment for professional women and career mothers. womanowned.com, Woman-Owned, networking opportunities and information for women interested in starting and growing a business. womenaboutbiz.com, Women About Biz, Women About Biz provides small business startup and growth resources, virtual networking and teleclasses for women entrepreneurs. womenhomebusiness.com, Women Home Business, success tips, personal stories, and other information for women with home-based businesses. womensnetwork.com.au, Women's Network Australia, membership networking organization for women in business, provides activities and benefits supported by live networking events, online services, educational forums, and consulting services. renworks.org, the Women's Rural Entrepreneurial Network, a network of rural women entrepreneurs providing training, marketing collaborations, and networking opportunities. Women in Media Business Organization websites: angelfire.com/New Jersey 3/Rowan WIC, Women in Communications at Rowan University, information on officers, chapter activities, and meetings, with newsletter and photos. awsmonline.org, AWSM, the Association for Women in Sports Media, dedicated to the advancement of women in sports media-related fields. IAWRT.org, the International Association of Women in Radio and Television, international organization of professional women actively engaged in the production and management of programs in the electronic media or broadcasting. IWMF.org, International Women's Media Foundation, IWMF, programs designed to move women into key positions in the news media by providing them with the information, skills, and connections they need to succeed. NewsWomen'sClubNewYork.com, Newswomen's Club of New York, for women journalists in the New York metropolitan area, including newspapers, magazines, radio, television, and new media. SoCalWICT.org, Women in Cable and Telecommunications Southern California, membership, meetings, awards, job board, and links to industry resources. WCT-FCT.com, Advancing Women in Canada, national not-for-profit organization supports the advancement of women in the communications field, providing information and services. WICT.org, Women in Cable Telecommunications, WICT. WICTDCBalt.org, WICTDC/Baltimore, events calendar, industry links, membership information, and newsletter. WICTPhiladelphia.org, Women in Cable and Telecommunications, Philadelphia. WICTRM.org, Rocky Mountain Chapter of Women in Cable and Telecommunications, WICT, Denver. WIFP.org, Women's Institute for Freedom of the Press, Research, Education, and Publishing Organization, to increase communication among women and reach the public with women's experience, perspectives, and opinions. WOMCOM.org, Association for Women in Communications. WomenInPhotography.org, Women in Photography International, promotes the visibility of women photographers and their work. WomensMediaGroup.org, Women's Media Group, WMG, provides a forum for networking, career development and advocacy for women who have achieved prominence in the many fields of media. Beauty pageant websites. Cully.org/business/arts_and_entertainment/beauty_pageants. GlobalBeauties.com, Global Beauties, coverage of Miss World, Miss Universe, and Miss International. PageantCenter.com, Pageant Center, beauty pageant information, announcements, and links. PageantryMagazine.com, Pageantry Magazine Online, pageant magazine covering pageants, fashion, talent, and modeling competitions. Women's architecture websites. ARWOMeninArchitecture.com, Women in Architecture Forum and Awards Luncheon honoring design leadership among American women architects. AWAPLUSD.org, Association for Women in Architecture Plus Design, advancing and supporting the positions of women in architecture and allied fields. CWArch.org, Chicago Women in Architecture, not-for-profit, volunteer organization that exists as a forum for women in architecture and related professions. OWA-USA.org, Organization of Women Architects and Design Professionals, a support network for professionals in the San Francisco Bay Area involved in the environmental design fields. spec.lib.vt.edu/Iowa, International Archive of Women in Architecture, including biographies, bibliographies, newsletter articles. WIANEEC.org, Women in Architecture New York City, mentorship, licensure, and networking opportunities in architecture and the allied design and building industries. WIAVancouver.org, Women in Architecture Vancouver. WIA is professional architectural organization based in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Women's comics websites. AngryLittleGirls.com, Angry Little Girls. Leela Lee created the Angry Little Asian Girl in video form while she was a student at UC Berkeley. DameDarcy.com, Dame Darcy. Information about Meat Cake comics, biography, animation, prints, dolls, palm reading, music, and current events. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/women_in_comics, Wikipedia, Women in Comics, list of female comic book writers and artists. girl.com/girlcomics.html, girl, you draw like a girl, read about women comics, creators, and characters. JillThompson.tumblr.com, Jill Thompson, and other good things, writer/artist of Scary Godmother. lambk.net/magazine/womenscomics.htm, women's comics, magazine, 1970, 1991, page by Lombeek, Amsterdam. mollykeely.com, Molly Keely, art, comics, illustrations and paintings since 1992. TrinaRobbins.com, Trina Robbins, writer and historian. womenincomics.wiki.com/wiki/friends_of_Lulu, friends of Lulu, women doing comics, women currently playing instrumental roles in comics as writers, artists, colorists, letterers, editors, and publishers of currently available comics, both print and online, graphic novels, strips and one-panel cartoons. Women's movie websites. let.uu.nl/women's_studies/Annika/film theory.html, Malik, Feminist Film Theory, An Introduction to the Discipline. myth.umd.edu/women's studies/film reviews, women's studies database, film reviews, selection of full-text feminist film reviews. muse.jhu.edu/journal/35, camera obscura, feminist perspectives on film, television, and visual media. uppersS.umn.edu/books/c/Carson_multiple.html, multiple voices in feminist film criticism, description of a book that offers a comprehensive survey of the work done in the discipline over the last 2 decades. people.virginia.edu/tilde/pm9k/libci/womfilm.html, women in cinema, a reference guide. wmm.com, Women Make Movies, national non-profit feminist media arts organization whose multicultural programs provide resources for both users and producers of media by women. wffis.or.kr, Women's Film Festival in Seoul, located in Seoul, Korea. Women's radio websites. amazonradio.com, Amazon Radio, women's music for all who color outside the lines. Heard on WPKN in Bridgeport, CT. Home to the National Women's Radio archives, playlists, events, and women's music links. music.minnesota.publicradio.org/features/0102_instrumental women/index.html, instrumental women, Minnesota Public Radio program about women musicians in the United States and their contributions to classical music. SatelliteSisters.com, Satellite Sisters Radio, radio show featuring 5 sisters talking about women and real life. Women's theater websites. GorillaGirlsOnTour.com, Guerrilla Girls on Tour, activist theater collective whose mission is to create performances and workshops that address sexism and racism across the globe and prove that feminists are funny. spec.lib.miamio.edu/home/NAPA, Native American Women Playwrights Archive. NAPA hopes to identify playwrights, collect and preserve their work, try to make it widely known and encourage performances and continued creativity. TheMagdalenaProject.org, The Magdalena Project, international network of women in contemporary theater, hosting festivals, events, workshops, and publications. Women's visual art websites. Abrahams.wordpress.com, Annie Abrahams. She is known worldwide for her net art and collective writing experiments and networked performance art. ACHA-KUTSCHER.com, Maria Acacuture, a Peruvian artist, who defines herself as a feminist visual artist. AdeleGriffin.com, Adele Griffin, young adult book writer and photographer, Adele Griffin. AdrianPiper.com, Opera Foundation Berlin, site of conceptual artist and philosopher Adrian Piper. AMY-ALEXANDER.com, Amy Alexander, new media, audio-visual and performance artist who has also worked in film, video, music, and information technology. Anka.8m.com, Anka Laxer, a site presenting information about the artist and the combination of two complementary disciplines, art and poetry, both equally important ways of expressing her creativity. archive.it.org/collections/2973, Contemporary women artists on the web, a listing of contemporary women artists on the web. artcyclopedia.com/artists/women.html, Artcyclopedia, women artists, dedicated to women's art history, listing over 850 artists from antiquity to present. arthistoryarchive.com/arthistory/feminist/20th century_feministartists.html, Art History Archive, Feminist Artists of the 20th Century, a library about different artistic movements, art groups, and specific artists. AstudioOftHeron.org, a studio of their own, documents the foundation of the nation's first feminist art education program at Fresno State University in 1970 and its enduring legacy in contemporary art. BarbaraNessim.com, Barbara Nessim. Barbara was recently appointed the first Artists Laureate by the Norman Rockwell Museum in Stockbridge, MA. blogs.indiewire.com/women and Hollywood, Women and Hollywood IndieWire, one of the most respected sites for issues related to women and film as well as other areas of pop culture. cla.purdue.edu/YAW, Women Artists of the American West, a collection of thousands of high-resolution images, plus statements from the artists, biographical sketches, critical historical essays, and bibliographies. collections.gc.ca/women/0300001-1150-e.html, Women Artists in Canada, works of art by women artists in diverse media, plus biographical information about the artists, essays, and a bibliography. CressidaSTransformations.com, Cressidas Transformations, Kathleen Notman, write and author. CynthiaBrodyArt.com, Cynthia Brody Mixed Media Art, women are the focal point of most pieces. elupton.com, Ellen Lupton, Curator of Contemporary Design at Cooper Hewitt, National Design Museum in New York City and Director of the Graphic Design MFA program at Maryland Institute College of Art, MICA, in Baltimore. Facebook.com/women's-art-resource-center-412289932186210, Women's Art Resource Center, artist-run Toronto exhibition gallery dedicated to the advancement of contemporary Canadian women's art practice. feministartproject.rutgers.edu, the Feminist Art Project, FAIR is a network of art programs on women and gender. feministstudies.org/artgallery.html, Feminist Studies Art Gallery, art featured in the latest issues of the Feminist Studies Journal, one of the oldest feminist publication in the United States, founded in 1972. figurationfeminine.blogspot.com.br, Figuration Feminine, blog of an artist, about women artists who paint women. GorillaGirls.com, Gorilla Girls, a group of female artists, writers, performers, and other arts professionals who fight discrimination through humor, activism and the arts. ImogenCunningham.com, Imogen Cunningham Trust, preserving the artist's work, managing her rights and permissions and promoting her photographs through publications and exhibitions. JudyChicago.com, Judy Chicago, feminist art, including painting and needlework. LalaSAED.com, Lala Sadie, her work has been exhibited in many major international locales and is represented in a number of collections, including the Williams College Museum of Art, the Art Institute of Chicago, the Fries Museum, the Netherlands, and the Kodak Museum of Art. LouiseNevelson-Foundation.org, Louise Nevelson Foundation, site of the foundation dedicated to the life and work of Louise Nevelson and established by the artist's granddaughter. LucidPlanet.com/IWA, Iowa Women Artists Oral History Project. Through recorded interviews, this project preserves the voices of women visual artists in Iowa, reflecting on their lives and their artwork. MAI-HUDSON.org, Marina Abramovic Institute, founded by Marina Abramovic and will serve as her legacy and homage to time-based and immaterial art. midnmasr.com/en/printerfriendly.aspx article ID =261, Women in Graffiti, a tribute to the women of Egypt, article about street art research in Egypt done by women or about women. nmwa.org, National Museum of Women in the Arts, bringing to light remarkable women artists of the past while also promoting the best women artists working today. patrafeathers.com, Patra Feathers Art, creations of natural art using the feathers of exotic birds to produce earthy landscapes. reactfeminism.org/prog_overview.php, react.feminism, historical archive of feminist performance touring Europe since 2011. sallyman.com, Sally Mann, US-based writer and photographer. sandyskoglund.com, Sandy Skoglund art site, home site of the artist Sandy Skoglund with images of recent work, including installation views. society-women-artists.org.uk, the Society of Women Artists group has held an annual exhibition in London of the work of women artists ever since 1857. sugswritersblog.blogspot.co.uk, Suggs Writers Blog, Susan Gilbert's blog. veroregistry.org, the Vero Registry of Women Artists, an online gallery of artwork and research material on contemporary international women artists. veryscarycarnival.20m.com, Art by Accident, a virtual sideshow of creepy, funny, sometimes beautiful and usually curious canvases. arthistoryarchive.com %2 fart history %2 feminist %2 f20th century _feminist artists.html. wendy.com/women/artists.html, Women Artists in History, a space to showcase the work of women artists down through the centuries. womenartrevolution.com, Women Art Revolution, a film by Lynn Hirschman Leeson reveals how the feminist art movement transformed the art and culture of our times. womenoutwest.blogspot.com.br, Women Out West, Art on the Edge of America, a blog about 19th and 20th century female artists working in the western United States created by artist, art historian, and educator, Victoria Sunstagard. womensmuseumca.org, Women's Museum of California, founded in 1983 as the Women's History Reclamation Project, it is a non-profit organization, with a mission to educate and inspire present and future generations about the experiences and contributions of women. wsworkshop.org, Women's Studio Workshop, founded in 1974 by 4 women artists who were committed to developing an alternative space for artists to create new work and to come together to share skills. Chapter 3. Women's Culture Websites from cali.org/society/people/women/culture. Women's Culture Websites. aawn1.tripod.com, African American Women's Network, Support and Empowerment Group for Black Women and Women of Color. afab-kafanm.org, AFAB CAFAM Association of Haitian Women in Boston, dedicated to empowering low-income Haitian women and their children. CAWN.org, CAWN, the Central America Women's Network, CAWN, the Central America Women's Network, promoting women's rights and gender equality. Chicanas.com, Making Face, Making Soul, a Chicana feminist website, an introduction to Mexican American, Chicana/O, cultures through the discussion of Chicana feminist issues in the United States today. Cowgirl.net, the National Cowgirl Museum and Hall of Fame, the only museum in the world dedicated to honoring and documenting the lives of women who have distinguished themselves while exemplifying the pioneer spirit of the American West. crossgarwi.org.uk, Crossgar Women's Institute, community group in Northern Ireland. FAI.net, Franco-American Women's Institute, they, based in Maine, USA. GreekAmericanGirl.com, Greek American Girl, dedicated to the issues, news, interests, and accomplishments of women of Hellenic descent around the world. IamAbougieGirl.blogspot.com, I Am a Bougie Girl, a blog about life, love, and whatever else is on my mind. IndusLadies.com, Global online community of Indian ladies, a community website for Indian women living all over the world. Iran.ht.com, Iranduct, online community. IWC_MOSCOW.tripod.com, the International Women's Club of Moscow, promotes cultural understanding for women living in Moscow. JWA.org, Jewish Women's Archive, chronicles and transmits the rich legacy of Jewish women and their contributions to our world. Kamat.com/KAL-Ranga/women, Kamat's Potpourri, the Women of India, History, Pictures, extensive articles and a FAQ. Memzob.com, the Global Indian Women, articles, news, and chat for Indian women. NativeWomen.tribe.net, Native American Women, Tribe.net, a place for Native American women to come together. NCNW.net, Niagara Chapter of Native Women, NCNW, encourages Native women to take their rightful place in society while remembering and honoring their unique cultural and spiritual beliefs. PakistaniWomen.blogspot.com, Pakistani women, honoring the women of Pakistan. Penmai.com, Penmai, a site for and about Indian women. RAW.org, Revolutionary Association of the Women of Afghanistan, RAWA, independent political/social organization of Afghan women struggling for peace, freedom, democracy, and women's rights in Afghanistan. RootsWomen.com, Roots Women, news, facts, and analysis. Sakhai.org, Sakha for South Asian women, events, newsletter, and projects. UN.org/WomenWatch, Women Watch, a central gateway to information and resources on the promotion of gender equality and the empowerment of women throughout the United Nations system. WINAction.org, Women's Intercultural Network, linking women and girls across national boundaries and cultures. WOCAonline.org, Women of Color Alliance website, our mission is to work toward a fair social, political and economic system. WomenForAfghanWomen.org, Women for Afghan Women, a New York-based grassroots organization concerned with human rights and women's rights in Afghanistan. Women's African American websites. NCNW.org, National Council of Negro Women, a non-profit membership organization dedicated to improving the lives of African American women, their families, and communities. SwingFiSwing.org, SwingFi Social Fellowship, Inc. BellaOnline.com/site/African Culture, Bella Online, African American Culture, information, links, and articles from Ruth McDonald. BIVIStylemagazine.com, BIV Style Magazine, entertainment magazine, resources for fashion, beauty, online soap opera and directories for those working or desiring to work in the entertainment industry. Blackgirl.org, Black Girl International, web directory listing sites related to Black women's lives in America and worldwide. Blackgirlnerds.com, Black Girl Nerds, an online community where women can embrace their eccentricities and appreciate who they are. BlackWomen'sHealth.com, BlackWomen'sHealth.com, dedicated to the health and wellness of today's African American woman. Essence.com, Essence, an expansive web destination for African American women. Facebook.com/the-black-feminista-189379294443892, The Black Feminista, a motivating, inspirational online magazine for African American women. FirstTVDrama.com/central/bgirls.php3, Black Women in Science Fiction, a listing of television shows with Black female main characters and those without them. GraveyardsHiFTSisters.com, Graveyard Shift Sisters, a blog that highlights and celebrates Black women in horror. MammyNoMore.com, Mammy No More, this space is all about exposing misogynoir and promoting happiness, health, and wealth in Black women. NHBWQueenCity.webs.com, National Hookup of Black Women, Queen City Chapter. Our chapter establishes collaborative community partnerships with those dedicated to empowering women and their families. TheAfroWomancezine.com, Afro Woman's Ezine, for African Caribbean women. Women's African Culture websites. africabib.org/women.html, African Women's Bibliographic Database, an English-language database containing over 19,000 citations from 1986 to current. agi.ac.za, African Gender Institute, building intellectual capacity and establishing an African resource dedicated to strengthening and advancing the work of intellectuals, researchers, policymakers, and practitioners committed to the attainment of gender equity. apcwomen.org/regions/Africa, APC Africa Women, network of organizations and individuals working to empower African women's organizations to access and use information and communication technologies, ICTs, for equality and development. ADF.org, African Women's Development Fund, supports women's right to be treated as an equal within African society. Facebook.com/Women of the African Diaspora /?FREF=TS, Women of the African Diaspora, source for information and inspiration for Black women around the world. FAWSNGO.org, Femme Africa Solidarite, FAWS, an international non-governmental organization working on issues of gender, peace, and development, particularly with women peacebuilders. Information about their organization, activities, events, publications, and press releases. English and French. Femnet.co, Femnet, the African Women's Development and Communication Network. Women's Asian Culture websites. Kali.org/regional/Asia/society_and_culture/women, click a country. hartford.hwp.com/archives/50/001.html, Introduction to Nirmani, a Sri Lankan newspaper from women. ICD.org, International Centre for Entrepreneurship and Career Development. Women's European Culture websites. Kali.org/regional/Europe/society_and_culture/women, click a country. blog.blackwomenineurope.com, Black Women in Europe, a blog about Black women of all nationalities who live in Europe. zonta-district27.org, Zonta International District 27, covers Belgium, France, Germany, Luxembourg, Poland and Ukraine. Facebook.com/Area41 Ladies Circle, Area 41, Ladies Circle Lothian and Borders. Ladiescircle.nl, Ladies Circle Netherlands, information on organization, activities, and service projects. lutcircle.freeservers.com/index.html, Lutterworth and District Ladies Circle, meetings and activities, membership, charity projects and photos. Women's Middle Eastern Culture websites. dhushara.com/book/zulu/islam/p/with/wif.htm, Women in Fundamentalism, excerpt from a book by Shehin Jeremy featuring discussions about family and feminism with Iranian women who are in positions of power. digital.library.upenn.edu/women/_generate/iran.html, links to Iranian women writers on the web. news.bbc.co.uk/2/hi/middle_east/6213854.stm, BBC News, Iran police move into fashion business, report from Tehran on the police authorities' efforts to encourage women to adopt more conservative dress. pavn.com/books/womanhood, Womanhood Motherhood, online book by Roya Monagem, discussing the role women in society. pavn.com/women, a brief history of the women's movement in Iran, an analysis of the women's movement in Iran from pavn.com. Women's Native American Culture websites. conservancy.umn.edu/handle/11299/164018. Voices from the Gaps, instructional website focusing on the lives and works of North American women writers of color, with profiles, links and writing samples from each. Mexico Lady of Guadalupe websites. canconsteva.com/guadalupe.htm, Mystery of the Virgin of Guadalupe, why did she use the Spanish name Guadalupe? What was her message? shjolg.com, Our Lady of Guadalupe, History of the Apparitions. Chapter 4. Women's culture in Australia and New Zealand. Australia Women's Culture websites. unwomen.org.au, UN Women National Committee Australia, United Nations entity for gender equality and the empowerment of women, particularly those relating to the core mandate of Australian UN Women. 1800respect.org.au, 1800 Respect, National Sexual Assault, Domestic and Family Violence Counselling Service for people living in Australia. AustralianWomenSport.com.au, Australian Women's Sport and Recreation Association, AWRA is a volunteer, not-for-profit organisation dedicated to providing leadership and advocacy for women and girls in sport and active recreation. Awava.org.au, Australian Women Against Violence Alliance. Awava's focus is addressing all forms of violence against women and ensures that women's voices are heard by the Australian government. Bellybully.com.au, Bellybully, pregnancy, birth and parenting information. bravefoundation.org.au, Brave Foundation, teenage pregnancy, parenthood information and support. divorceandfamilylawyers.com.au, Divorce and Family Lawyers, a directory of family law services for separated and divorced women to find essential services following relationship breakdown. domesticviolence.nsw.gov.au, Domestic violence is a crime, domestic violence information site for Australian mothers seeking to leave abusive relationships, including contact details for various help services. Eastern Family Violence Partnership.org.au, Eastern Family Violence Partnership, Eastern Metropolitan Region of Melbourne Coordinated Family Violence Support for Women and Children. EqualityRightsAlliance.org.au, Equality Rights Alliance, Australian network of organisations with an interest in advancing women's equality. FeminaUSD.org, Feminost, Australian feminism website, supporting Australian feminist women. HomelessnessAustralia.org.au, Homelessness Australia, supports and represents homeless women escaping domestic violence, young people and single women, and men. ImpactForWomen.org.au, Impact, a volunteer charity supporting women and children in crisis, fleeing domestic violence at home. Let'sGoMumReviews.com.au, Let's Go Mum, Australian single mother school holidays and travel reviews information website. MigrantWomen'sServices.com.au, Migrant Women's Support Service, a service provider located in Adelaide that promotes the basic human rights of non-English speaking women and children from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds. Ministers.dpmc.gov.au/cash, Minister assisting the Prime Minister for Women. Senator the Hon Mitcha Elia Cash, website of Senator the Hon Mitcha Elia Cash is the Minister assisting the Prime Minister for Women. natsiwa.org.au, National Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Women's Alliance, government-established alliance which empowers Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women to have a strong and effective voice in the Australian domestic policy advocacy process. Neveralone.com.au, Never Alone, domestic violence website for women and children affected by family violence offering support and information. NFA.org, National Foundation for Australian Women, an independent, non-party political, feminist lobby group. OwnAustralia.org.au, Older Women's Network Australia, promotes the rights, dignity and well-being of older women. PLAN4WOMENSSAFETY.dss.gov.au, the National Plan to Reduce Violence Against Women and Their Children, aims to connect Australian governments, community organisations and individuals to reduce violence against women and their children. QLDDomesticViolenceLink.org.au, Queensland DV Weblink, online directory of domestic violence support services in Queensland. RotaryWomen.org.au, Women in Rotary, women working together to expand and build on existing strengths with the benefits of diversity to improve the lives of individuals and communities. SHE.org.au, She, Support, Help, Empowerment, Tasmanian not-for-profit organisation that provides specialist counselling services for women who are currently or have experienced family and domestic violence. SingleMotherForum.com, Australian Single Mother Forum, a single mother chat forum for Australian mothers to discuss topics such as child support, child custody, and single parenting. singlemum.com.au, singlemum.com.au, single parenting website containing articles, blogs, support links, event listings, product reviews, competitions and a help and lawyer directory. weaving.org.au, Women Everywhere Advocating Violence Elimination, Violence Against Women Awareness Organization which consolidates stakeholder groups to form a body to eliminate all forms of violence against Australian women. wel.org.au, Women's Electoral Lobby, National Independent Political Organization representing women's rights. wensw.asn.au, Women's Health NSW, Association of Non-Government Statewide Women's Health Centers and Specialist Women's Centers provided within a feminist framework. WomenAustralia.info, the Australian Women's Register, a database source of information about Australian women and their organisations. womenDonors.org.au, Australian Women Donors Network, advocates for women and girls and promotes gender principles in grant making. Women'sHousingCompany.org.au, Women's Housing Company, a not-for-profit housing association for single women on limited incomes throughout the Sydney metropolitan area. wwc.org.au, Working Women's Centres, provides information, support, advice, and advocacy services to women on work-related issues. Women's Queensland websites. women.qld.gov.au, the Office of Women's Policy, Queensland Government's lead agency for issues relevant to women and girls. noviolence.com.au, Queensland Centre for Domestic and Family Violence resource, news, and resource library relating to domestic violence. qrrrwnonline.wildapricot.org, Queensland Rural, Regional and Remote Women's Network, information about the network, membership, conferences, future events, and initiatives. qn.asn.au, Queensland Women's Health Network, strengthening links between women, women's services, the health sector and key decision makers in Queensland by assisting with information, support, and advocacy. wwq.org.au, Working Women Queensland, an information and referral service for women in work or looking for work. zigzag.org.au, Zigzag Young Women's Resource Centre, a resource centre for young women aged 12 to 25 years in Queensland. Victoria Women's websites. qvwc.org.au, Queen Victoria Women's Centre, empowers women to make informed choices to reach their full potential and be inspired for the future. Wire.org.au, Wire, Women's Information, provides free information, support, and referrals to women across Victoria, with a phone support service, a walk-in centre and searchable website. Women's New Zealand Culture websites. awc.org.nz, Auckland Women's Centre, provide a friendly meeting place for all women and offer a range of courses and services provided by women in a women-only environment. canterbury.cyberplace.org.nz/community/women.html, housing for women. The objectives of the trust are to reduce the risks women face, support women in obtaining alternatives to the present facilities available to them, and to enable them to change the circumstances which disempower them. MargotUnlimited.com, Margot Unlimited. Margot de Coatsworth has a love of food and a passion for finding meaning in life which she shares with visitors to the site. Vibe.co.nz, Vibe, personal development event for women, supporting children's charities. Women.government.nz, Ministry for Women. The ministry provides the New Zealand government with quality advice to help improve women's lives.